Hey y'all, this is Attorney Gerald Griggs, Justice Fighter. Wanted to jump on here and have a real conversation about Senate Bill 68 and what it actually means, what it actually says. And, a lot of conversation in the state of Georgia has been talking about this bill and how it's, potentially helps consumers. But we really want to talk about the truth about the mass tort reform that the governor is pushing. And so here's a website where it kind of breaks down what's actually happening here. And it goes the truth about Georgia's tort reform, SB 68, what it means for you. Georgia is currently the center of mass litigation battle that could have long-term consequences for consumers, accident victims, and businesses alike. Senate Bill 68 is a key piece of tort reform legislation, is being promoted as a way to stabilize insurance costs, but in reality, it threatens to erode the everyday rights of citizens seeking justice in Georgia. Here's what you know and how to take action about Senate Bill 68. Senate Bill 68 is a legislative proposal backed by Governor Brian Kemp and his proponents of tort reform, claiming it will lower insurance premiums and reduce frivolous lawsuits. However, opponents like myself argue the bill primarily benefits big insurance companies and corporations at the expense of injured individuals and small businesses. What does Senate Bill 68 do? It limits damages. The bill seeks to impose stricter caps on non-economic damages, which include pain and suffering. This disproportionately affects individuals who suffer from severe injuries, but have not had as high economic loss, such as lost wages. So it does cap those damages. Protection for wrongdoers. Senate Bill 68 raises the procedural hurdles for holding negligent parties accountable, such as stricter evidentiary requirements and limitations on certain claims. Those changes could make it more challenging for a victim to secure fair compensation from large corporations and insurance companies, uh, regardless of whether they have legal representation. It creates higher legal burdens. The bill raises the standards for filing lawsuits, making it harder for individuals who have been injured to seek justice. This could discourage legitimate claims and leave victims without options. There's no guarantee in this bill that it will reduce insurance costs. In fact, we argue that the tort reform leads to lower, but when proponents argue that tort reform will lead to lower insurance premiums, there's not exactly enough research to support this claim. Similar tort reform measures in other states have not consequently lowered insurance premiums and often led to increased insurance premiums. So who benefits from SB 68? Insurance companies, large corporations, and lobbyists and special interest groups. And this is a stark warning for those who are going to seek justice and moving forward. And what can you do? You can call your legislators. You can spread the word. You can support active advocacy groups, and you can attend public hearings and rallies. The bill has already passed over into the House of Representatives. As we see here, we'll go to the recorder. So the Georgia Recorder is reporting that Kemp's lawsuit overhaul bill passed the Senate panel and clearing its first legislative hurdle. It's also cleared the Senate. And so we are seeing that there's an attempt to roll back these rights in real time. The article goes on to say the two bills aim to upending Georgia lawsuit damage caps rules just cleared the first hurdle, passing the Senate Judiciary Committee late Monday evening, and it also passed the Georgia Senate not that long ago. We want to go to the actual bill that is on the website. And so here's a copy of the bills were introduced by Senator Kennedy of the 18th, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson of the 29th, Avenarte of the 31st, and Walker of the 20th, and others. And it goes over the things that this bill would do. And of course, when you go to the top, it gives you a summary. It says to amend titles 9, 13, 40, and 51 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to civil practice, contracts, motor vehicles, torts, respectively, so as to provide for a substantive and comprehensive revision of the provisions regarding civil practice, evidentiary matters, damages, liabilities, and tort actions, and to provide limitations relative to pain and suffering testimony, to provide for timing of answers and discovery, to provide for the dismissal of civil actions, to provide for attorney's fees, court costs, and litigation expenses, to provide for the admissibility of evidence related to seat belts, and to provide for trial procedures, to provide for negligent security cause of action, to provide for exclusive remedies for negligent security actions, to provide for apportionment of damages and negligent security actions, and provide for limitations relative to special damages, to provide for definitions to provide for related matters and provide for effective date and applicability and to repeal conflicting laws and purposes. And that's just that is just the summary of what the bill does. So basically, it attacks premise liability cases that could be brought against certain entities for victims, such as apartment complexes and other entities that have negligent security in serious criminal actions where the person wants to recover their medical damages or their lost pain and suffering, lost wages from an accident or a negligent incident that causes great damage. So we need to know that this is happening in real time. I want to go to the legislative history of the bill. And so in the Georgia General Assembly, this is Senate Bill 68. As you can see, it was in the Judiciary Committee, and now it's in Rules. It is in the second read of the House. And so it passed on February the 21st, 2025 out of the Senate and was adopted as it passed, adopted by substitute, entered into the House on the 24th, had the second read on the 25th, and now is in committee. So we can continue to advocate to stop this bill and to make sure that people still have access to making sure that their ability to recover in certain tort actions are protected. Really want you to contact your elected officials and ask them to reconsider in the House because this is a bill that will hurt the ability for individuals to recover. As you can see, there are numerous law firms in the search term that are speaking out. There are survivors that spoke out against Senate Bill 68 just a day ago. They were covered by 11 Alive as they were survivors of premise liability issues. That link seems to be not working. But we need to make sure we protect Georgia families and not insurance companies. And so it's my recommendation that we push back on this bill, that we make sure we protect individuals that have a right to fair compensation for incidents that have occurred in the state of Georgia. And we leave it up to a jury to decide whether or not somebody has been negligent in this type of situation. So I just wanted to come on here, share this information with you. If you have any questions, please feel free in the comments to leave your comment or your question. But we have to push back on Senate Bill 68. This would not be good for Georgia families, Georgia injury victims, and individuals who are seeking to recover. So let's push back on that. Wanted to come and bring this to you directly. I'm Attorney Gerald Griggs, a justice fighter. Push back on Senate Bill 68.